Hello and welcome to Auto Today. My name is Dipayan and you're joining me in Pune 20 years since Bajaj first launched the Pulsar brand name, and it changed the way India looks at the sports bike. Of course, now we are here to welcome two brand new motorcycles that are set to take the Pulsar brand name into the next generation. Now on my right is the semi-faired F250 and on my left is the N250. Now before we get into specifics about design, aside from the change in nomenclature, these two are absolutely new motorcycles from the ground up. So let's take a closer look at these two new motorcycles and what really has changed in this new generation.
What a lot of people may take for granted is how both these motorcycles look fresh and new, but are still instantly recognizable as Pulsars. Sure, 2 decades may have changed the definition of muscular design from the more rounded form of the original Pulsars to the sinewy sharp lines that you see on the N250 and the F250. Bajaj has played a smart game of contrast on the body panels using blacked out panels to give the body painted panels a more floating, clean appearance compared to some of the busier designs that we've seen on Pulsars in the past. On the N250, the headlamp arrangement continues the triangular design that is identifiable with the cluster on the NS. On the N250 though, the lights are exposed and are complemented by a set of angular DRLs. If the team at Bajaj Design had got a memo listing recognizable, unique and in line with the general global design language for 2021 as their goals, they've managed to achieve that, and how. This ethos is instantly recognizable on the bikini faired F250 as well. The fairing itself is now sleeker and lower, making up for it with a tallish visor. Overall, both the N250 and the F250 have the presence to be shoulder to shoulder with the front runners of the quarter-litre segment. The instrument cluster too is all new with an analog digital setup. It retains the analog tachometer as a tip of the hat to the Pulsar sporty repertoire. The digital part of the cluster is a standard LCD unit with a blue backlight. The display itself is clear and legible with a whole lot of information to offer, but misses out on the popular Bluetooth mobile pairing feature that has now become the benchmark for the space.
Now while both these motorcycles are mostly the same under the skin, where they change is slightly in terms of ergonomics. Now they both have 795mm seats, but the handlebars have been positioned differently. So let me get on the bike and show you how they're really different. Now this is the F250. And of course, it has clip-ons, but it has raised clip-ons. So it's not really a full tucked-in position, but there is plenty of place for your knees without really needing to be fully commit on the front. Now, ideally, this is a nice setup for both touring as well as riding out on the road. But to really see the difference between this and the N250, you'll have to check out the N250 in comparison. So let's change this motorcycle. What do you say? Much better. Now as you can see, this does not have clip-ons but has a standard bar. It is bent towards the rider but not as much as you would have had on the F250. What this means is a more agile motorcycle, especially out on the road and in the city. But otherwise, this is the slightly more comfortable motorcycle to ride every day. If comfort is a major factor for you, I think the N250 will be preferential. But that's enough about the ergonomics. Let's get these two motorcycles out on the road and see what they're really like.
At the heart of these two new bikes is a brand new 250cc single-cylinder oil-cooled motor. Now instead of Bajaj's usual DTSI technology, this one uses a 2-valve system with twin sparks. Now if you were expecting KTM 250-like performance from this motor, think again. Instead of the twist-hungry KTM motor, this one is more linear, focusing on a meaty mid-range. Something that has always been a calling card for non-KTM based Pulsars. Peak power of 24.5 bhp is achieved relatively lower at 8,750 rpm, and the peak torque of 21.5 Nm kicks in at an even lower 6,500 rpm. As a result, Bajaj has managed to get an engine to deliver 85% of peak torque from 3000 rpm to the red line. Now this means the engine may not have the manic character of the KTM's, but it is brisk and offers effortless roll-ons in almost any gear at any speed, so long as you don't want to make a drag start off the line. What stands out on this engine is the levels of refinement which honestly surpass anything we've ridden with a Pulsar badge on it, KTM platform or otherwise. The engine is mated to a 5-speed gearbox with a slip and assist clutch. Sure, it's got a cog less, but it's got tall ratios. Mix that with the linear but torquey power band, and the result is a single cylinder motorcycle that's perhaps the smoothest Bajaj we've ever ridden. Even at the very top reaches of the tachometer, the vibrations only creep in at the pegs. That said, those long legs also help both motorcycles achieve indicated top speeds of 139 kmph on the N250 and 144 kmph on the F250 in 5th gear.
Now at rupees 1.40 lakh for the semi-naked F250 and 1.38 lakh for the naked 250, Bajaj have done it again, democratizing the quarter-litre segment and undercutting the rivals by a fair amount. Now aside from that, these two motorcycles are mechanically very good, and otherwise they have the features and the comfort that would appeal to this segment, and I'm sure there are a bunch of Pulsar maniacs out there who would love to get their hands on these two motorcycles. Now if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the Auto Today channel before you log out, and tell us what you think of these two motorcycles in the comments. This is Didi signing off.